Hello everybody, welcome back to the Hearthstone 2017 Winter Championship. We are here about to go into Game 5 of Puffin vs XR. 2-2 at the moment. This game will decide who advances to the finals. I'm Blurryface, with me here is Penguin. How are we tonight?
Blurry, I'm very well, thanks. As you mentioned, the series has been really great, really intense. Puffin, who recently won the Innkeeper Showdown tournament, obviously is looking really, really strong and wanting to continue this winning ways into the grand final. XR, who pretty much was one of the strongest and most dominant players in the Hearthstone scene 2 years ago, hasn't won anything or had a high top finish in the last year.
Yeah.
So definitely looking to try and correct that and start getting into the grand finals and then focusing on that match at hand going on to there. Just to quickly say, XR has got Dragon Priest for this final game, and then Puffin's obviously got the Jade Druid. Blurry, between just knowing the decks, you haven't seen the deck lists either.
No.
How do you actually feel this matchup is going to show out between these two?
I think this matchup can be very dependent on the opening hand. If the Druid, really draws what he needs, he hits the ramp, he gets ahead and he gets that Jade train rolling, he can win this, but I do think the Dragon Priest is favoured as he just hits tempo a little bit better. Draconid Operative, I should say, is such a strong card that it's hard to ignore in this matchup.
Exactly.
But it's not too favoured either way, though.
Yeah, and I mean, what makes it even more tough for the Druid is the fact that the Priest has now got the Cabal Talon Priest, giving your minions an extra 3 health, where they've already got such a high health pool already. Just makes it even more difficult for the Druid to actually deal with it, unless, of course, he gets off to a really good start, where he's got the Wild Growths, Jade Blossoms into the Jade Behemoths to really start getting that Jade train rolling with the Jade Spirit's Ire. Because if that happens, the Druid can run away with this game. However, Priest as well is in the same boat, where if they have the turn 1 Twilight Whelp into, say, Wormrust Agent, into Talon Priest or Netherspite Historian, they can also just get away with the tempo that they have in the deck. The only issue is that they need dragons in their hand. So if they don't have the dragons, that whole plan just kind of falls away as well. It's
also a matchup almost entirely focused around minions here. Neither class has particularly strong board clears. Priest loses the ability to clear Jade Golems in an AoE at 3/3. Excubated Evil. Oh, Dragonfire Potion, of course, is the big one. You can drop that.
Yeah.
One or two big board clears depending on the exact list that XR is running. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of minion on minion. So smart trades are going to be incredibly valuable to both of these players.
Most definitely. I think the players are just about ready for us to jump in as well. I'm sure you'll be able to confirm.
I am. We will just jump in now. And here we go. Going into Game 5 here. It is, once again, Puffin on the Druid versus XR on the Priest.
Yeah. Alright, so you see XR, running Pint-Sized Potion, which is actually very interesting. He's mostly getting it away. He definitely needs to find that early tempo, and he does pick it up with the Twilight Whelp as well.
Twilight Whelp on turn 1 is perfect.
Yeah. Puffin, though, he has a way to bring out Fandral with the Coin Innovate. And looking at his hand, I mean, if you really want to run away with this game, this is a really all-in play, because this can play straight into Shadow Word Pain. It
certainly can. It's definitely risk versus reward here. Getting Fandral out turn 1 is amazing. If it was Shadow Word Pain, you're at such a hand disadvantage that the game is nearly over right there. However, with both a Wrath and the Raven Idol in hand, it's a hard play to pass up.
No, most definitely. XR using the trade to run in, obviously because Fairy Dragon can't get killed by any spell that will be targeting it, but obviously also denying some sort of trade. So Puffin is looking in a bit of an iffy situation here. He needs to go for the Raven Idol, obviously going to get the value. Hired Gun, I think, is maybe the best option there, just because of the fact it's got a taunt.
Probably, yeah.
Also, for attack is also really good against Priest, because Shadow Word Pain and Death doesn't affect it as well.
Of course. He also has the option here to protect his Fandral with the Innovate Hired Gun. Or he can take the Claw, either or. Probably take the Claw and do that. It's just much more mana efficient. You hold on to the Innovate. But overall, very good discovers here for Puffin. Taking out that Fairy.
It's actually very nice. A little bit of a threat there by XR. Shadow Word Horror, very interesting card.
Wow, that's a very interesting inclusion.
Yeah, there we go. We speak about Dragonid Operative, and there he does actually choose to discover it off the Netherspite Historian. Now, Puffin has a choice here to play the hired gun. He could also innovate out the Azure Drake. The only issue is that obviously he needs to worry about Holy Nova, but that's still a turn away, so I feel fine with these trade that he's actually decided to do here.
Yeah,
another Fairy Dragon. Very weak turn for the Priest around about turn 4.
Yeah, that Shadow Word Horror was the only on-curve play he had, and it just didn't do anything in this scenario. So, getting that Fairy Dragon out, while not ideal, it does contest both creatures on the board, and will likely lead into a pretty good Draconid operative turn, and that's what the Priest really needs.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see Puffin innovate out the Azure Drake, just pick up some card draw. The only issue is that Fairy Dragon, how's he going to deal with it? I think the best thing to do here is, as much as it does contest, I think just going face here is really right. Start putting the Priest under pressure here.
I agree, yeah. Going face there does start the clock, even though it's not exactly a fast one. And you know that the Priest is likely not going to AoE here. We do see the Draconid operative come down. Choice of the real choice. He takes the Feral Rage. I would have considered Brand Bronzebeard there, just because there are so many beneficial battle cries.
Yeah, but I think the Feral Rage as well. Maybe XR is picking up that he's falling behind and may just need that extra 8 armor to keep his health pool pretty nice and high. We do see the Wrath into the Raven Idol here by Puffin, and again, picking up the minion as well as the spell, just so strong. Mark of Nature, I think, is just so strong here because of the choose effect, especially if you still keep Fandral alive.
Yeah, I mean, this game so far is being shaped around that turn 1 Fandral play. As we said, if the Druid gets off to a start where they really get ahead, this is what happens. This is where all of their cards have gotten so much value from getting both sides of the choose 1 effect that the Priest is so far behind. I think that Feral Rage may have even been taken to get the 4 attack. He's got no other way of killing the Azure Drake.
Yeah. So Ixa just going to drop down the Sylvanas. We do see the first Raven Idol picked up by Puffin. But Mark of Nature is 4 attack. Is he just dead here with the Living Roots as well with the spell damage? So that's 7, 11, 14, 15.
I think he was dead with Swipe as well, but that will just be the game. The Druid takes it. Very well played there by Puffin.
Puffin taking the win and moving on into the final now, where he will be able to, if he wins it, obviously find himself a seat into the Hearthstone World Championship. So really well played here by Puffin, and you know it goes down to what we said, that first turn 1 play, bringing out the Fandral, and the Priest not having a way to actually deal with it, just meant that Raven Idols getting both a minion as well as a spell. I mean, the fact that he got the hired gun as well as the claw is pretty good RNG, so that he keeps his Fandral alive as well as protects it with a taunt that can't just be cleared by a Shadow Word Pain or Death. The only way it would be is by Eviscerated Evil. But Priest never had any of that. The fact that it was still around for the second one, where you could pick up Mark of Nature as well as the Knife Juggler. The Knife Juggler just has great synergy if Fandral's still out with the Living Roots. So, as we mentioned at the beginning, if the Druid is able to kick off and get rolling, get that steam train rolling, then it's very difficult to stop. But the same could have also been said for the Dragon Priest. But unfortunately, just a very slow start. I mean, turn 4 was also fairly weak there for Ixa.
Yeah, just a Fairy Dragon on turn 4 when you're looking at a board. Like, realistically, Fandral can't live for that long. And the Priest needed some serious catch-up tools, and he just didn't find them, unfortunately. He didn't get those sticky minions out. The Talon Priest came a little bit too late, to the point where he couldn't find he couldn't spend 3 mana on just getting a Talon Priest out, and it just snowballed the way of the Druid and ended in a bit of burst. Just from it came down to that Fandral synergy. He was getting the minions that ended the game, and the spells were from those Raven Idols. Yeah,
and realistically, as you said, if Fandral lives longer than a turn or two, you really start questioning pretty much the rest of your game style, because how do you deal with it? I mean, if Puffin was able to actually pick out a Nourish and actually play it, I mean, the fact that he would have been able to draw cards as well as still ramp up and still have 2 mana available to him, along with the fact that we didn't even see any Jade synergy. We saw a Jade Idol, but he didn't even need it. Reason being is because Fandral at the beginning with the Raven Idols just gave him all that help that he needed to actually get off to such a great tempo start. And in the end, taking the series 3-2 and moving on to the grand finals, I'm really definitely keen to see how he's going to be performing in the finals. Obviously, his opponent still to potential opponents still to play in the game after this. But after a performance like that, Puffin still showing his winning ways and moving on into the grand final.
Exactly. That was a very dominating performance by him. I think you hit the nail on the head there. It was just ignoring the Jade train. It was just the Druid train that got on the tracks and there was nothing that could be done to stop it. And that is going to be GG. Bad luck for Ixar. He did get to the semi-finals here. That's a good showing. No reason he can't come back in last call or a split here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully we see him back. It was a bit unlucky there. You know, sometimes your opponent just draws the nuts and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah.
There was certainly no misplays by the priest, to be fair.
Yeah. There were no real misplays. I mean, playing the Sylvanas on turn 6 was just the best play that he could play. He needed to put down a minion on curve where he was efficient with his mana so that he put some sort of threat down, but able to just completely ignore it because of lethal. Reason being because of the Mark of the Nature, Living Roots, as well as the hero power. With that, you know, if you used the swipe, it wasn't going to be lethal. So just having the perfect combination for lethal there, it just worked out really, really well for him. So we're going to be seeing Puffin into the finals after such a really dominant performance. And again, unfortunate for Ixar. Hopefully he doesn't take this too hard. Yeah. I mean, he's a really good player. He'll be able to go through to a last call and still find his way potentially to the Hearthstone World Championships. And I think it'll be really great for him to be there as well.
I agree. So I believe we're going to sign out here. Once again, I've been Blurryface. With me here is Penguin. Thank you very much, everyone, and especially to my co-caster. We'll be seeing you another time.